April 23, 2003, Idaho Falls, Idaho. After a fight with his wife, Daniel Litzenberger speeds onto an Idaho highway, drawing State Trooper Chris Nelson and Bonneville County Deputy Brian Lovell into a deadly chase.
As I was driving home, I heard that Bonneville County was in pursuit of a drunk driver.
The officer that was on the scene, he was giving out the description of a blue and white Ford pickup that this Litzenberg guy was driving.
Bonneville County said that they needed help. I grabbed my vest, my gun belt, some handcuffs. I grabbed everything. So I hit the lights and siren to clear out the intersection. I noticed the pursuit was coming at me. And I noticed he was doing well over 50 miles an hour and he wasn't slowing down. He was coming right at me. So I swerved to the right to get out of his way and flipped a U-turn and jumped in the pursuit.
The sergeant says, okay, you're the second guy in line, start calling the pursuit.
375, we're eastbound on Lincoln Road.
It's 5 o'clock traffic. There was just tons of cars on this particular road. There ended up being a couple of other county deputies in behind me and Trooper Nelson.
Litzenberg just blew through the stop signs. I just knew from my experience, you know, got a drunk driver and driving like this, it's not gonna end up pretty good. They're gonna wind up taking himself out or taking someone else out.
He's driving all over the line, he's crossing the center line.
We were traveling at speeds excess of 80, 90 miles an hour. I got this sinking feeling the only place for him to go was out to the reservoir and it wasn't gonna end good.
As we get close to the top of the hill before we drop down into the Blacktail, there's a couple of large 90-degree turns that take up about 1.5 miles to make all the turns. There's a couple spots in the S-curves where I thought maybe he would crash. Once you get down there, there's no phone service, there's no radio service.
And we followed Litzenberg down to the boat ramp area, parking lot, and he pulled his truck right up against the guardrail. And we set up in felony stop position. I can't believe he's gonna make it this easy for us that he just pulled up to the guardrail, kind of no place to go, and stops. I moved from my car up to the Deputy Lovell's car. So I started asking him if he could see inside the pickup. And he said to me that it looked like he had something, but he couldn't tell. And so I started trying to position myself, and we drew our guns and pointed at him and started yelling at him, giving him commands to show us his hands and come out with his hands up. We couldn't see inside the pickup. Pretty soon I heard the engine rev on the pickup and saw the reverse lights come on. Man, he's gonna ram these guys. So we started yelling, look out, he's gonna ram you. And he backed up and stopped and then started to take off again. My thought was, you know, containment. I've got to cut off this guy's exit. I can't let him get out of here. And so I went and jumped in my patrol car and threw it in reverse and just floored it. As I was backing up, looking where I was going, I turned around and looked forward, and I noticed he wasn't trying to get away from me. He was coming at me now. It hit with such force. He was probably going around 35 miles an hour or so when he hit me head on. Both the airbags blew in my car filled with smoke. I remember thinking, holy crap, can't believe this guy just ran. And also thinking, okay, he's elevated, it's deadly force now. No sooner do I get out of my car and I look up and he's out of his pickup and he's rounded it. He had a big knife in his right hand, probably a 14-inch knife, and he's just walking at a fast pace. It was almost a charge. He wasn't running, but he was charging at me. Can't believe this guy's coming at me with a knife now. And I started yelling, drop the knife, drop the knife. Just remember pulling the trigger as fast as I could. But I remember hearing every single gunshot go off in my head. I was counting them out in my head as I was squeezing the trigger. And I grabbed the mic and told dispatch that shots had been fired and there was a man down. Then we grabbed first aid kits and went to work on him.
He was bleeding from several places.
And I was kneeling down. I had both hands plugging bullet holes, and I was looking at his face. I was looking at this guy, and I was just thinking, man, this guy just tried to kill me. You know, he rammed me head on, and then he charged at me with the knife, forced me to shoot him, and now I'm trying to save this guy's life.
This knife that was on the ground ended up being a serrated saw. When it was folded out, it was about, a foot long or so.
Received a fracture on 3 of my vertebrae from the crash. I made a choice a long time ago that if it ever came down to me or someone else, it was going to be someone else.
Due to the quick medical response of Trooper Nelson and Deputy Lovell, Litzenberger survived the shooting and is doing jail time for charges that include aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and domestic violence. Up next,
I need a code 1 ambulance to 11th and Central.
a gun battle rages outside a Kansas City nightclub.
It came down to me going home or him going home.